Hello, I'm looking for your kindest, most understanding, and most single young lady.
Ah, you've come a long way, little visitor. But there are a few things you need to know before you meet her.
Genuine mixed nationality relationships are common and often healthy. Many people form sincere partnerships across borders based on shared values, emotional connection, and long-term commitment. These relationships may involve cultural adjustment and financial support decisions, but they are built on transparency and mutual consent. Immigration processes, family integration, and financial planning are discussed openly, and both partners participate in decision-making. There is no secrecy about personal circumstances, no pressure to hide the relationship, and no pattern of one-sided financial obligation disguised as love or duty. Some relationships become exploitative without clearly crossing into criminal fraud. In these cases, one partner gradually becomes financially dependent or manipulative. They may repeatedly request money, expect financial support for extended family, avoid contributing proportionally, or use emotional pressure to maintain control. There may be broken promises, emotional withdrawal when financial help is refused, or avoidance of long-term planning. These situations can be deeply harmful but may not involve provable deception under criminal law. Over time, the financial burden often becomes normalized, and the supporting partner may feel guilt, obligation, or fear of losing the relationship if they stop providing money. A common early pattern in these exploitative dynamics is dry begging, which begins with small, seemingly reasonable requests that appear situational, temporary, and emotionally compelling. These requests are framed not as demands but as hardships shared in conversation, leaving the other partner to feel morally compelled to offer help. Examples include needing small amounts of money for mobile phone load or prepaid data, replacement of a lost or broken phone, eyeglasses for a child, medical bills for relatives, vehicle repairs for relatives, school expenses, rent shortfalls, food emergencies, or unexpected household repairs. Each individual request may sound believable and urgent, but over time they form a repeated pattern. The requests often increase gradually in size and frequency, and refusal may be met with emotional withdrawal, guilt-inducing statements, or suggestions that love and commitment are being questioned. Other situations move from unhealthy into potentially criminal behavior. This includes cases where a partner knowingly maintains multiple romantic relationships for financial gain, hides an existing marriage or partner, or deliberately misrepresents intentions to secure money, property, or immigration sponsorship. Financial exploitation can include taking loans in a partner's name, draining joint accounts, pressuring property transfers, convincing a partner to invest in fake business opportunities, or disappearing after receiving substantial funds. Affairs combined with financial dependency can also occur, where one partner supports someone who is secretly involved with others. These acts may constitute fraud, theft, or financial abuse depending on jurisdiction, especially when deception and financial harm are provable. Legal marriage or immigration fraud is another category. This occurs when a person enters a relationship or marriage primarily to gain visas, residency, or citizenship, while concealing that intent. Authorities in many countries prosecute sham marriages when evidence shows deliberate deception. Warning patterns include rushing into marriage with minimal history, focusing heavily on immigration timelines rather than relationship development, avoiding discussions about shared life plans, employment, or long-term living arrangements, and disappearing or ending the relationship once legal status is secured. Sometimes the relationship continues only until immigration paperwork is finalized. Organized online romance scams represent the most clearly criminal end of the spectrum. These involve fake or heavily deceptive identities, scripted emotional manipulation, and systematic financial extraction. Variations include catfishing, military or offshore worker impersonations, inheritance scams, and pig butchering investment schemes where emotional trust is built over weeks or months before large financial requests are introduced. These operations often request wire transfers, cryptocurrency, gift cards, or emergency funds, and typically avoid in-person meetings or live video verification. The emotional tone can feel real and intense, making victims believe they are in genuine relationships, even though the identity and intentions are fabricated. Common warning signs across exploitative and fraudulent situations include secrecy about personal history, reluctance to introduce you to family or friends, inconsistent stories, and resistance to video calls or in-person meetings. Financial red flags include urgent money requests, pressure to send funds privately, requests to use your bank account, requests for loans, or expectations that you shoulder ongoing financial burdens without clear plans. Relationship behavior warning signs include love bombing early on, quick talk of marriage or relocation, isolating you from your support network, anger when financial help is questioned, emotional punishment through silence or withdrawal, and refusal to discuss future logistics realistically. The key distinction across the spectrum is intent and transparency. Healthy relationships involve openness, shared planning, and mutual contribution. Exploitative relationships involve imbalance, emotional pressure, and escalating financial dependency, often introduced through dry begging. Criminal situations involve deliberate deception, hidden parallel relationships, identity fraud, or intentional financial extraction. Here are practical protective steps that help someone stay open to genuine connection while reducing the risk of financial, emotional, or legal harm in cross-border or online relationships. First, slow the pace of emotional escalation. Real relationships develop over time through shared experiences, consistent behavior, and mutual investment. Be cautious if intense affection, talk of destiny, marriage, or lifelong commitment appears very early. Fast emotional bonding is a common setup for both emotional dependency and financial exploitation. Second, verify identity in layered ways. Use live video calls, not just photos or pre-recorded clips. Ask for spontaneous, real-time interaction that matches their claimed location and lifestyle. Confirm details gradually, workplace, daily routines, family context without interrogating, but also without accepting vague or shifting answers. Genuine partners understand the need for mutual trust building. Third, establish clear financial boundaries early and keep them firm. Do not send money, loans, gifts, or financial support to someone you have not met multiple times in person and built a long-term, transparent relationship with. Avoid co-signing loans, sharing bank access, transferring property, or investing in business opportunities connected to someone you know only through a relationship. If you decide to help financially later in a serious relationship, make it a mutual, documented, and openly discussed decision, not a reaction to pressure or crisis storytelling. Fourth, watch for dry begging patterns. Repeated small requests framed as emergencies, phone load, phone replacement, eyeglasses for children, medical bills for relatives, vehicle repairs for relatives, school fees, rent gaps should not become routine. One-time help is different from a developing pattern of financial reliance. If requests continue, increase, or are tied to emotional pressure, if you loved me, that is a strong signal to pause and reassess. Fifth, keep your support network involved. Do not isolate yourself emotionally or socially. Talk openly with trusted friends or family about the relationship, including financial requests. Outsiders often see red flags more clearly than someone emotionally invested. A partner who discourages you from discussing the relationship with others is a serious warning sign. Sixth, separate romance from immigration processes. If immigration becomes part of the relationship, move slowly and use proper legal channels. Do not rush marriage for paperwork. Understand the legal responsibilities you take on as a sponsor in your country. Consult an immigration attorney independently, not one chosen by your partner. Genuine partners will respect caution and transparency. Seventh, protect your personal and financial information. Do not share copies of passports, bank details, tax records, or personal identification with someone you have not built deep, verified trust with. Never allow someone to use your bank account to receive or move money. That can expose you to criminal liability even if you believed you were helping. Eighth, test consistency over time. Real people have stable stories, stable contact patterns, and stable identities. Scammers and exploitive partners often have shifting explanations, frequent crises, changing job stories, and inconsistent availability. Time is one of the best filters. Ninth, trust behavior over words. Promises of future visits, relocation, or shared life plans should be matched by concrete, observable steps. If years pass without real-world integration, visits, introductions to family, shared planning, while money continues to flow one way, The imbalance itself is the warning. Finally, be willing to walk away at the first clear boundary violation. The earlier you disengage, the less costly it is emotionally and financially. Healthy partners respect boundaries. Manipulative or fraudulent ones react with guilt, anger, or pressure. These steps are not about becoming suspicious of everyone. They are about balancing empathy with structure. Genuine relationships can withstand transparency, time, and boundaries. Exploitative and fraudulent ones cannot.